these lies to be thrust upon the first black mayor, the first black female mayor, and the first female mayor ever in the city. No industry such as this will want to come to Gordon. They will not want to stay in Gordon with the confusion that seems to be all about the money of forensic audit, people on the governor, and the Attorney General Sam Olin, and the Secretary of State Brian D. Kemp. Even if they ignore, this is the Ghetto Free Press. We report what others ignore. You do not have to take my word for it. You can call the Quickman 10 plus 2N and see for yourself. Greetings, this is the Get to Free Press, and I'm George Boston Rhines. I'm standing in front of the economic hub that bring revenue into the city of Gordon, Georgia. And at tonight's call meeting of the City Council meeting, a resolution, a conclusion to the legal woes of the city of Gordon seems to have come to an end in that City Council members agreed to resolve all litigations against the city of Gordon, and they just may be on their way to healing and moving the city forward. No industry wants to be in a city where there is constant confusion in city, county, or state governments. And so hopefully this will bring about a resolve that Mayor Ann Whippaloo can finally do what the people of Gordon elected her to do. And we just want you to know that with the Get to Free Press. But in addition to that, I also want to highlight the last paper that came out concerning this particular controversial mayor of Mayor Ann Whippaloo. As you know, Judge Robert S. Reeves ruled to keep her in office, to keep Mayor Whippaloo in office, although she has been under attack for the majority of her time as Gordon first female mayor, Gordon first black mayor, and Gordon first black female mayor in the history of Gordon. I also wanted to mention briefly that this mayor, after being in office for 3 weeks, requested a forensic audit. And according to a local citizen, Elijah Simmons, said that he believed that this is why the controversy has went on in the city for such a long time. He goes further to say that people have been misappropriating money. This is what the late finance chair, Terry Reese, also said, in addition to the fact that he did not trust attorney Joseph Boone to represent all peoples on the council, and he wanted him removed from city governments. In addition, Pamela Reeves also stated that if this mayor is so upset with the mayor and certain members on council that he should resign from being the attorney of city governments in Gordon, Georgia. Moreover, I have interviewed many other people who have stated on the record that Mayor Whippaloo does not get legal counseling as she should, or as other mayors in the state of Georgia who have a attorney to represent the mayor, the council, and the city. And so they do not believe that Attorney Joseph Boone even represents the city, the council, or Mayor Whippaloo. Now, this problem has been resolved, but the question still remains, as I just left some citizens, their question is, who can represent the mayor and one half of the council, because the hostilities and biases are so deep until Joseph Boone and Joseph Boone Law Firm, the Boone and Boone Law Firm, cannot carry out the legal affairs for the best interest of this mayor and the council members that are not friends to friends, as I'm told, and in many cases how video footage over the last 2 years will show. Again, back to the Wilkinson County Post. When the mayor won this 2-year battle, many newspapers and television stations headlines read, "Gordon Mayor remains in office." But here in the Wilkinson County Post, the only newspaper to cover Gordon for the most part, so repeatedly says, "Post-trial, dissension not over in Gordon. Council vacancies ensure city will remain hotbed of controversy in wake of Lou's decision." Now, people would look, and I'm sure people who are not biased and people who want truth, they probably would want the Honorable Judge Robert S. Reeves ruled in favor of Mayor Whipperloo remaining in office, etc., etc., etc. But we know, and I have documented, that this editor, Judy Bailey, beyond question, is biased. The newspaper does not reflect the truth in terms of what is happening in Gordon. And if the people in Gordon rely on this newspaper to get the beef of what happens and takes place at these public meetings, I'm saddened to say, but they will definitely have a very, very, very distorted view of what is happening in city government. And at some point, somebody must tell and report the truth to the people of Gordon, to the people of Wilkinson County, to the people of the state of Georgia, and to the people of the United States of America. Now, if you read this article, the mayor and the honorable and historic mayor, the beef of what took place in the trial is not found in this article written by Judy Bailey, the editor, the same editor that repeatedly disrupts these meetings in the city of Gordon. Don't take my word for it. Let the truth speak for itself. And believe me, it has been overly documented on Boston G.B.R. YouTube channel. You will not find, let me repeat, you will not find in no newspaper or on any video from any other television stations the disruptions that Judy Bailey, the editor of the Wilkinson County Post, has caused in these public meetings. That is before she was given $45,000 of taxpayers' money by what the citizens call the Gordon Coalition, which consists of a black councilman by the name of Freddie Densley, Mayor Pro Tem Terry Eady, Councilman Thomas Smallwood, and Councilman George Wynn. And do you not know, they went into executive session and they voted to give the editor $45,000. Let me repeat, $45,000. $45,000 of taxpayers' money. Now, this should have been plastered all over this newspaper, but you won't find that. Now, the question is, what did Mayor Lou do to have Judy Bailey arrested? Now, that's a valid question, because you have heard in the video that I recorded wherein Judy Bailey made statements. I'm not going to repeat what she said. All I'm asking you to do is to watch the video. Watch the video. And you will never see Gordon elected mayor, Mayor Ann Whipperloo, have Judy Bailey arrested. That was an act by the Department of Police for Gordon, number one. And number two, Judy Bailey decided, and her own words was to arrest me then. Then she told her friends to make sure you get pictures. Then she said to the police department, take me to jail. Then she said, take me now. All of this have been recorded, and you don't have to take my word for it. Just follow the yellow brick road of truth. Yet they blame the mayor for having her arrested. And of course, the $45,000 was given. Taxpayers' money. No, listen to me closely, no court proceedings was initiated. From what I am told, that $45,000 was given by the Gordon Coalition, I guess, with the approval of Gordon City Attorney Joseph Boone and others. Now, if you don't know anything about this, it's because it seemed as if though the Associated Press out of Georgia seemed to be unconcerned about the citizens in the state of Georgia receiving a fair and balanced diet of news-worthy information, not only in Gordon, but across the state of Georgia, dealing with 18 cities and counties that I'm working with and have gone to and have documented proof. Let me repeat, documented proof wherein newspapers and television stations are lying, outright lying on black elected officials, and the truth must be told by somebody so the lies can be exposed. Now, I'm getting ready to close. I want the people of America, especially the men and women that are on active duty, the disabled military veterans that serve their nation, and the retired military veterans, I want you to know, you better start questioning your service to this country when your mother and your father can be elected by the voters and then removed from office by superior court judges, number one. Number two, by council members who want to maintain the old status system, and they do it with a select few. Some people call them those in the clique and among the slicks. And we have Uncle Toms, let me repeat, we have Uncle Toms and Aunt Jane Negroes that take sides with the wrong side of history and do what we've always done, and that is to see blacks work against the righteous folk in these beloved communities. And a lot of these righteous folk are white folk. A lot of the white folk do not agree. They do not agree with what's going on after they vote a person into office. And to see them denigrated, maligned, lied on, brought to court on bogus charges, and it gives the appearance that the judicial system is in cahoots with that clique and a system to circumvent the power of Georgia voters. Now look, do not take my word for it. Just Google Boston G.B.R, then Google Georgia newly elected black mayors, their mistreatment, and the removal of them from office. Now, the mayor of Meigs, Linda Harris, have already been removed, but she was not found guilty of violating not one law. Not one. She has not been proven guilty in a court of law, but she's out of office. And others are under attack. Some were not re-elected because the news media and television stations lied on these black elected officials, as have already been proven and documented in Douglas, Georgia, against Commissioner Olivia Coley Pearson. Just Google the Douglas Four. They are being brought up on charges just like the Quitman 10+2 for 4 years with over 100 or 200 voting rights violations. And after 4 years, they dropped those charges down to 119. Then Lula Smart, one of the Quitman 10, went to court one time. That case ended up a mistrial. The state of Georgia, under Secretary of State, took her back to court a second time. That case ended up in a mistrial. The Secretary of State and the Georgia Attorney General and the governor, I guess, took her to court again for the third time. And a jury of her peers found her not guilty of all 30 to 40 charges that the state of Georgia brought up against her. After 4 years, and after a 19-day court case in Brooks County, Georgia. But I would have you to know not one newspaper, not one television station, not in Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iran or Tajikistan, but right here where we stand in the state of Georgia, they didn't have enough decency or enough care about freedom of the press and standing up for Georgians and the American people to be in the courtroom to cover that very high-profile case. It's all been documented. It all has been documented. You do not have to take my word for it. You can call the Quitman 10 plus 2N and see for yourself. And I might add that Latasha Head, one of the Quitman 10 plus 2, died. She was a lupus patient. I talked to her father, and he told me that he believed that the stress that the state of Georgia put upon that lupus patient contributed to her demise. In Gordon, Georgia, I am told that the mayor's husband, Basil Luke, died, fell sick at City Hall from confusion over an EEOC complaint, and he too died. Some people believe that his death was contributed to the same pattern and practice by a system, not by accident, but by a system that many people now are being made aware of, not because of the mainstream news media, but because there are people who use their cell phones at these public meetings in Florida with the Florida 9, the Madison 9, who was brought up on these same charges just like they did the rest of them, just like the mayor in Meigs, Georgia, the mayor in Lumpkin, Georgia, the mayor in, I don't want to call the name, Google Georgia newly elected black mayors. Now look, I'm going to close this out. I just cut this video. I just got out of the courtroom from the call meeting. I'm going to post that meeting video in a few minutes along with the one from the other night. But I want you to know that as long as there is confusion in these cities over the election of black mayors, what industry, what economic base will want to come into a community where there is racial problems, EEOC complaints being filed on every end, and where the taxpayers' money is paid out by 77,000, 149,000, and all kind of stuff like that. These taxpayers deserve better. GERMA, the insurance people, deserve better. And when you have people sitting on a council, wait a minute, when you have people that sit on a council and then file suit against the very council that they're sitting on and against the citizens that voted them into office, how can that be? It seems to me that GMA or the state of Georgia need to do a little bit more training on newly elected black officials. And one more thing, I am told, and no, I don't have to say told, I have watched in these meetings, much of the confusion in Gordon is because, let me say this real slow, I want you to catch this, then I'm gonna close. A lot of the confusion in Gordon is because they don't have policies, procedures, job descriptions, and an updated charter that is reflective of many other cities in the state of Georgia. And so until the policies and procedures are established, they don't have any, so they got to be established. We hear veteran council members say, we've always done it that way. We have heard the city clerk say, we've always done it that way, or she'll say, that's the way we did it last time. but I never hear them refer to an ordinance, a policy, a procedure, a job description, or even on contracts. And to have it said by the finance chair that he did not know how much money the city had. Now, he was a veteran of 20 years, I believe, and he said he didn't know how much money the city had. He said, but he did know that they had 19 banking accounts. Now, I asked other cities, I went to some more cities, I could call their name, but it's already on YouTube and doesn't need me being redundant. They said, how many? A city with less than 3,000 people got 19 banking accounts. So the finance chair said, we need to have a forensic audit. And his words to me was, he would not be, listen, let me say it again. His words to me, unequivocally, was that he wanted to see those crooks behind bars. Now, I don't know what group of crooks he was talking about. I have him saying that. I had him talk about the QuickBooks, and as you will hear on the video concerning the forensic audit with the auditor, Bill Basket. Listen, Google Bill Basket and Gordon Forensic Audit. But see, nobody in the state of Georgia cares about the dollars of the taxpayers, but I care. Your television stations, they've been on Mary Ann Whippaloo and all of her troubles and open records and sunshine violations. But what have they reported in strength about not accounting for the taxpayers' dollar? They are not focused on that. So some people believe that there is a clique, and those among the slicks, let me repeat, those in the clique and among the slicks do not want the people to close out, I guess, some of them 19 banking accounts, number one. Number two, they don't want to account for the taxpayers' dollars. Number three, it is indeed a disgrace when a new mayor took office and she was told, according to what she has told me, and I got it on video, that white people told her that when she come into office that she needs to have a forensic audit, not a yearly audit, but a forensic audit that looks deep into the books to account for taxpayers' dollars. And after 3 weeks of office, what I'm told, that is when all hell broke loose. Let me repeat, that is when all hell broke loose. Let me say it again. That is when all hell broke loose on the backside of heaven. When she requested 3 weeks after being in office, to do a forensic audit, to get a handle on those 19 banking accounts and to find how much money was in each one of those accounts, and then to find out how the taxpayers' money had been spent. Now you will hear the late finance chair say that I cannot trust Attorney Boone. He said that unequivocally. And he went further to say, I cannot work with people that I cannot trust. Now, he said that. So now, why would the state of Georgia allow an attorney to sit over a mayor and a council wherein they believe that that attorney does not represent all of the council members or the city? It seems to me that something is wrong with that picture. And for the Judge Robert S. Reeves, to listen to this repeatedly and then not resolve it is a disgrace to our form of government here in the state of Georgia. Again, the Wilkinson County Post, the executive editor, is DuBose Porter, who is also the chairman of the Democratic Party, allows all this venom and, according to many citizens, these lies to be thrust upon the first black mayor, the first black female mayor, and the first female mayor ever in the city of the history of Gordon. And I am sure, beyond question, that eventually truth, right, and justice will win in the end. Why will it win? Because no industry no industry such as this will want to come to Gordon. They will not want to stay in Gordon with the confusion that seemed to be all about the money, a forensic audit, people on the council fighting the mayor, people on the council fighting the council, people on the council fighting the people of Gordon, and somewhere down the line, the citizens and the voters of Gordon is the one that will make the difference in the attorney, in the reporting of the news, and its unfairness to keeping industry in Gordon or driving them out of Gordon. Somewhere, the citizens must stand up and do what is right here in the state of Georgia. Even if the governor and the Attorney General Sam Olens and the Secretary of State Brian P. Kemp, even if they ignore all these other 18 cities and counties dealing with voting rights like Hancock County, and in Florida like the Madison, Florida 9, like in Douglas with the Douglas 4, like was in Lumpkin, Georgia, Dawson, Georgia, and on and on and on. Clayton County, yeah, Clayton County, near Atlanta. Look. This is the Ghetto Free Press. We report what others ignore. Again, I served this country for 21 years, and I took an oath and an obligation with the Code of Conduct, which said I would defend this country from both foreign and domestic enemies. And from what I see now here in Gordon, that we have some domestic enemies, and these domestic enemies are against mayors of various cities in Georgia. They are against the very foundation of this republic. And without change, this state, these cities could very well fall apart because of the lack of governmental leadership. Once again, to get to free press, you have a right to know, and St. John 8:32 says, and ye shall know the truth, and that the truth shall set and make you free. Just remember that, voters in Gordon, and the other 18 cities and counties, if you refuse to stand up for truth, the government that you get, and you deserve what you get. And you can vote in the office who you want, but unless you stand up for the people, once they are elected, and make sure that this wicked and unjust justice system leave them alone, you're casting your vote in vain in the state of Georgia. Peace be unto you. May God bless you. Today, July the 20th, 2016. We do this because we love you just that much.